Nathan, start with you. I guess there's 30-player squad, very similar to the one that's New Zealand. What do you like about it?
Well, I think the versatility amongst all the players is really good. We've got guys who can play in a number of different positions, particularly in the backs. And our forwards performed really well over in the tournament in the 2 games against New Zealand. So there's lots of flexibility in that as well. So it's important going over to Africa with only 31 guys playing 5 games in 4 weeks. So it's a big physical demand. So it's important that we've got coverage across the squad. So yep.
Just getting through that 2-game series in New Zealand, winning the first one, only going down by a point. What does that do for the confidence of this group to really sort of give you the belief that you can really match it with the best of them?
Well, I think it's the focus of those 2 games were to continue to build our game and focus on us performing and playing together and building combinations and on the field, and it was pleasing to be able to do that and then as a team apply pressure to the opposition, which I think we did really well on a number of different fronts. So we'll take some really good positives out of that trip and keep growing and look forward to heading to Africa.
I guess a couple of additions who didn't go to that New Zealand trip, Tom Liner and Marley Pearce. Just having that Super Rugby experience, what can those two particularly add to the squad and kind of speak to their experience?
Oh, it's great. Those guys have been playing at a high level for a number of weeks throughout Super Rugby, so they're only going to add to the quality of the players that we've got, which is great. And learn quickly how we want to play. But it's a bonus to be able to have those guys jump in and they've certainly earned their spot in the squad.
As Ned, for you, being one of those guys that was there last year and that team that sort of got beat by New Zealand on the Sunshine Coast and now come into a World Champs with 2 very promising games, what does that do just for your own kind of belief?
Yeah, I guess there definitely was a bit of a fire in the belly going into those games after last year, but like Grazy was saying, the confidence that I think our squad will take out of that tour is huge. Like a number of us, we've been playing for heaps of many years together now, so we're feeling good and ready to go.
I guess spending time with yourself in that Western Force system, just being able to learn off, seasoned Wallabies, All Blacks like Jeremy Thrush in there, what does that do for your own sort of progression and prepping for a tournament like this?
Yeah, very lucky to be in the position I am. Just learning off those older guys, how they go about their everyday lives. Like, it's not all about just the rugby. They teach you how to be like a professional off the field as well and best prepare yourself for the big tournaments like this.
And then like 2 games in 6 days it was. It's pretty taxing. Not many teams do it these days. Like World Cup, kind of similar sort of things at times. Does that help in that preparation about backing it up, but also backing it up after a win, the highs, and then having to go in?
Yeah, 100%. Those 5-6 day turnarounds can be pretty quick. So you're really going to be smart about your recovery, and especially like you're saying, if you have a win, you can be happy for maybe a couple of hours, and you've got to be on to your next job.
Can you describe the feeling, such a narrow defeat on Saturday? It goes to show that percentages, it's a really fine line a lot of the time between success and not. How did the group kind of feel off the back of going down so close?
Yeah, 100%. Like we talked a lot about, it's just those little moments that the game can slip away from you, but I feel definitely out of those games we've still got a lot more to give, so yeah, we're confident.
Yeah. Nathan, just off the back of that as well, like Teddy Wilson spoke about the fact that great teams, and you had said great teams respond and go again. What did you say to the group after Saturday's defeat?
Well, I think the most important thing was about the growth of our game and our ability to put pressure on the opposition. I think we did that really well on a number of periods, but we weren't able to convert that pressure into points, and that's going to be really important for us going forward, going into a World Cup against teams of very high standard. You're going to get limited opportunities, and you've got to take those opportunities. And in the positives from that game was we created 3 or 4 chances where we should have been scoring tries. So you've got to convert that pressure. So that was a real good learning for us. And also being behind, going down 19-7 at half time, 19-6 at half time, and then the guys came back and scored a couple of tries. And stay in the fight, trust our process, and our game will give us the rewards. So there's a few messages from that, and it's exciting.
We saw how many players come out of that 2019 World Cup squad.
Yep.
Now, consistent Wallabies. What do you make of this squad? And can you see the pathways continuing to flourish, which has been our big concern in Australia over the last 15 years?
Yeah, well, I think that the pathways have been great in terms of COVID and guys missing out on those opportunities. That's been something that's been very unique, and we can't change that. But what we can do is focus on what we've got now and the opportunities that those players have now. We had the national under-16s, under-19s tournament last year, which was outstanding in exposing players to another level of footy. A lot of the players in the squad played in that tournament. And we had 14 guys, 15 guys back from last year as well. So it's good to see that those players are sticking their hand up and we're developing them. And and a lot of them are in Super Rugby programs at the moment. And the goal is for those guys to, become good footy players, good young men, and then they progress from the 20s into the super programs. And they're ambitious young blokes. They want to play for Australia. That's awesome. But they've got to understand the process and how hard it is to do that, and they're certainly learning that along the way.
So one of those kids is likely going to be Teddy Wilson, who's likely going to play significant minutes this weekend for the Waratahs against the Blues in the quarter final. Just have you seen his growth, particularly since taking on that captaincy and within those 2 tests against New Zealand?
Well, he's been a good football player for a number of years. It's not just the old saying, overnight success takes a lot of time. He's had to buy his time in terms of sitting on the bench a lot and not being able to play. So getting some big minutes, he can showcase his skills. He's got a really good skill set, and he's a very valuable player to the team. He's amongst a group of the leaders that we have in the Junior Wallabies. He's a unique guy. He leads in his own way, and he's someone who you want to have on your team playing for you, and he's done a good job, and he's still learning as a leader as well. So that's something that's exciting.
It's funny, you played with David. I don't know if you played with Scotty Bowen, but do you see some similarity? Like obviously different players, but is it funny kind of now coaching your son?
Yeah, I feel bloody old, but that's exciting. It's really good. Those guys are. I know their dads. I played with their dads, and it's exciting to see their young kids come through and help develop them and learn a lot more about the game and help them flourish as young men.
You've got a bit of a selection headache now with Tommy Liner coming back.
Yeah.
With Jack. Is there a way that both can be in the same 15, or do you see them as now 10s?
Yeah, we've got three 10s in the squad with Harry McLaughlin-Phillips. He's playing first grade football in Brisbane and playing very, very well. He's a young guy, so there's him, Scott, Jack, and Tom, and the 3 of those guys will be duking it out for that 10 position, which is great. They play a similar sort of style of footy, which is how we want to play. But it's a great problem to have. Players of high quality, and I think he's starting this week against the Chiefs. So starting in a Super Rugby quarter final, pretty impressive.
Does that potentially put him slightly ahead in the pecking order? Like I know that Jack's going well. There's a combination between him and Teddy as well, but. Is it an advantage or disadvantage that you didn't play those couple of matches just recently?
No, it's just the way it was. I think it's for Tom, it's excellent that he's had that opportunity to play Super Rugby and get exposure there, and he's going to bring that skill set and that experience into our squad. So how that fits in our squad is really important, and it's a great selection issue to have. And we'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
Because I'm the world champs themselves. Pretty tough pool to be drawn in with the way the Irish and the English particularly playing. Can you just kind of talk to the strengths of those teams, particularly the Irish, having gone through 6 Nations the way they have?
Yeah, they've been strong for a couple of years. It hasn't been a slow process for them. It hasn't been a quick process. Sorry, they've been very solid. They've got a consistent side. They played a lot of footy together, and. Yeah, they play exactly the same way as the Ireland national side do, so it's a decent blueprint. It works well for them. In saying that, there's definitely some opportunities there that we see, but they're a quality side. They've played together for a while, and they'll be tough, but we're looking forward to that.
And Nathan, you're a bit of a forgotten man as well in the coaching kind of scheme of things at the moment. Is it nice that you've got another showcase event where you can hopefully lead this side and get some success and perhaps push your own case?
Oh, mate, it's not about me at all. I've been given a real important job to help develop and grow these young players and lead them in my own way, and it's something that I'm really excited to do and feel very honoured to be able to do. So yeah, the focus is I've got an excellent coaching team around me with Nick Henderson and Shannon Fraser, two great rugby minds, so the three of us combined are going to do our best job in helping these guys develop and play a brand of footy that they can be proud of, we can be proud of, and all the supporters can be proud of as well.
Is it different going from coaching the Wallabies and fully grown professionals to a bit more amateur players, and kind of what are the skill sets that are different between coaching?
Oh no, it's very similar stuff, but you got to remember these guys are young. They're not men. They're young kids, so they're motivated differently. Different things drive them. Their sense of humour is pretty rubbish, or the things that interest them are a little bit different to what might be for the Wallaby guys from coaching in that environment. But that's also exciting and really refreshing, and it's a great environment to be in, and I feel very lucky to be able to lead the guys from that perspective.
And are you working with, do you have much interaction with Eddie? I know he's pretty busy at the moment, but do you guys in the same office from time to time? Is there much talk about the 20s system going through?
I definitely, Eddie's a coaching resource that he's been really open and happy for me to talk to him any time, of which I've taken that up, and keen to learn from him as well and pick his brain on his experience. So he's obviously super busy at the moment, but yeah, we've had some good chats around some of the players and how we want to do things.